Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So today we will start with a newer topic, which is the last phase of project management. The so-called project management. There are a lot of other things also that can be added depending on the complexity of the project as well as the simplicity of the project. So the last stage is project monitoring. It is generally known as a project monitoring and control system. Now, unlike other stages, it doesn't have any problem or algorithm. It is all about how do you monitor each and every activity when it is getting executed for a particular purpose. For and the purpose is that so that you can complete the total work in time or at the same cost. So because of delay, the cost should not increase. That is the objective of this project monitoring. So what are the aspects that needs to be monitored and controlled during a construction project? First is you have to have a control on the time schedule. That means the schedule which was prepared in the project scheduling, the time that you have put up through CPM part or bar diagram, and to monitor the progress of work as per the schedule that you have to monitor. Next thing that you have to monitor is the cost. You have to monitor the quality, the safety factor, and you sometimes have to also monitor your inventory for futuristic work. That means if you have overutilized something, a part of a thing which was supposed to be required in the next stage also, then you might be at a loss in the next stage. So proper monitoring not only gives you flexibility, but also helps in achieving a control over the next few works which are also going to come. So we call it a project monitoring and control system. Okay. Am I audible to everyone? Because my screen is showing there is something wrong with the mic. And,
Yes, sir, you're audible.
You're
and, my,
audible.
and my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So after done with, we are done with formulating a project, planning it by some bar chart or Gantt charts that when or and then we try to establish a precedence relationship that which activity needs to be completed or which activity can start after the completion of its preceding jobs. So that has been scheduled. Now according to the schedule you are going to work. Now during the work a project manager is supposed to monitor and control the works. So there is a need for monitoring and control systems that the management can use for the purpose of executing the work and ensure timely completion of the project within allocated budget. Okay. So for example, say you have a plan that 7 days before the Srijan exhibition, you will start working with n number of manpower. You have a budget of X amount of money, but after 4 days or after every day you are observing the progress. If after every day you have seen that 1/7 of the work has not been done, so what do? You don't have excess budget. So what do is you deploy more manpower or you find out smarter way of proceeding with the job. Smarter way means you do the same activity but the volume shows bigger. If you had a 1:200 scale model, you are now making 1:100 scale model. So there are different techniques depending on the projects and all, but ultimate need is to ensure timely completion of the project within allocated budget. You will face this situation once you are in your office. You are given an assignment in the morning and you are told that at 5 p.m. there is a client who is going to come to a meeting, and then you say that, sir, I am done completely with half of the project, but half is yet to be completed. That is not going to be accepted because within the budget you have to ensure timely completion. That means even if the first part is not completed enough, even it is not fully completed, still you have to show a focus on the complete project. That means the whole project, wholesome project was progressing and in a particular stage. So if the meeting is at 5 o'clock, by 4:30 you should be able to show the first draft of all the spaces, so that people has a confidence, the client has a confidence and can allow you a bit more or grant you a bit more extra time or maybe money depending on the complexity that you are placing in front of them. So this is a well-known control cycle, project control cycle. This has been taken from I guess the book of Neeraj Jha. Neeraj Jha is a faculty. He was an associate professor of IIT Kanpur Civil Engineering Department. So he has authored a book on construction project management. So from there I have taken that in a project control process, it is a cyclic process where constantly what we monitor is while execution of the project, we keep on gathering facts and data. Every day. That means आज ये काम हुआ है, कल इतना काम हुआ है, परसों इतना काम हुआ है. So cumulatively how much is done? पहले दिन इतना हुआ है, नेक्स्ट दिन इतना हुआ है, तीसरे दिन इतना हुआ है, and the total work में कितना बाकी है, you get to know by that. Next is analyze the data and progress into the report. So you analyze ki something which is working slow or which is working fine or which is working at a fast pace, whether there is any slack available or not. So all these are regularly monitored and are observed whether the actual achievement so it's aim at regularly monitoring of planned activity and actual achievement. So we are trying to analyze the data and put it into the report that whether there is a difference between the planned activity as per as our schedule or the project planning and what actually you are achieving at site. From there we are getting into predict likely outcome of current course of project. That means if you move in the same phase, will you be able to complete the project on right time or some other intervention has to be taken up. If you are going very fast, quality is being compromised, so you can slow it a bit to improve the quality, or if you are going too slow, then do necessary intervention so that you can complete the work on time and within the same cost maybe. And finally, after that prediction, we go into take corrective actions and replan. So this is an iterative process that keeps on happening. So for example, say in this particular curve, this is the time and this is the progress. So after a particular time, say t, this was supposed to be the estimated place where you should have been achieved. So we want to see that by that time whether you have overachieved a project or we have underachieved a project. These particular differences are important to us. So we have to plan that how this curve can be appraised up or how fast work with compromising of quality can be reduced down. Next is discover any deviation at the earliest. So see, if at t we are finding a deviation, at time t we are finding a deviation of say delta x. That means if we have monitored it at t by 2, what would have been the probable deviation? Something which is less than delta x, that would have been this displacement. So we have to try to find out timely deviations as early as possible. And see here, if it is less deviation from the actual train, we can take some corrective measures which are in the control of the manager. But if the deviation keeps on increasing, so this much of deviation, it may go beyond the control. There you might require more time or more money. Okay, but there is something that a project manager is hired for. He has to ensure that whatever system you are adopting, whichever system you are adopting, those systems should be simple as well as clearly indicative to identify the deviation. So whatever you are deviating, however you are what amount you are deviating from the actual trend, that should be a clear indication. I will show you one. We'll start with an example today. We'll complete it in the next day and show you how deviations are observed. Okay. So under so first was schedule, time, progress, cost, quality. So first let's find out the schedule, time, progress, control. How can you have a control on the schedule or the progress or on the time? So for that, what we do is, for individual item or individual activity, we put a target that the individual activity has to be over by a particular time. Now I have shared a picture with you in your WhatsApp group where there are 5 activities. Each one is suppose the target of each and every activity is to end by a defined time. This, and the quantity of work is fixed. Or instead of the quantity, we can also ascertain, or instead of the duration, we can ascertain the cost of work done. That this work, say the construction of a concrete slab, that can be achieved at a particular cost within a particular time only. If you reduce the cost, the time might increase. If you increase the cost, the time might reduce. So either the time has to be fixed or the cost of the work has to be fixed, and along with that the quantity of the work, the quantum, the volume of the work, so that you can determine the total, you can do a specification estimation that has to be done after you are sure about the quantity of the work or the cost of the work. So with this objective, we try to raise a short-term target for each and every individual activity. Now the project manager's duty is to ensure that the controls, whatever control measures are taken up after observing the progress of the work, whatever control measures are being adopted, they are not just in the report, they should be put into action. Next is, he should be having the reports, or he should be following reports which might help in the progress review. So, a clerk of work actually helps the architect, who, that means the architect sometimes works as a project manager. So the clerk of work gives him report from day-to-day progress, so that the architect can have his own bar chart. If you go to any construction site and there is a site engineer, you will see that he is maintaining a whiteboard where he has individual activity and whether he has the progress chart. Something like this. So this progress review is either is actually what? It is a difference between, or it is a pairwise bar chart where it shows the actual work and the actual progress of work. So in this particular time T, how much of each and every work has been done, when it started, when it stopped. So what I'm trying to mean is, in a report, you are showing the progress through actual versus planned bar chart. That can be a way. In a bar chart, in a horizontal bar chart, we are placing the actual plan and the actual activity that you are achieving and the planned activity that when it was supposed to be executed. Now see here, we are not showcasing the precedence relationship. Unlike the CPMN part where you had a precedence relationship, activity, each and every activity is related with some of its preceding activities. Here it is not done in a bar chart or a Gantt chart, that is not explained. Next, in the report, you can also show the progress review by activity status report. So here we are showing a graphical representation. We can also have a write up project report that for every activity, when is the earliest starting time, when is the scheduled project time, when it is earliest supposed to be ending, how much of activity, say this much of activity of the fourth activity is supposed to be remaining on the particular time t. Or if any project has a slack, it can be delayed by some time or not. Those are all mentioned in a written format, in a tabular format also, instead of a graph. Next is report on critical activities. If there was a critical activity, or if there are multiple critical activities, where are they being critically followed or not? There should not be any lagging. By now all of you know what a critical activity is. So the critical activities actually primarily control the completion of a task. So we try to plot the critical activities. We try to show even if at all any task which is sleeping means is delaying or not, because you are not able to start a task because it will only start after a previous task has ended and they were critical. So because of some critical activities, whether there is any task which is sleeping or not. Next is any milestone, that means completion which has been achieved. For example, say in time t, you can see that 33% of the project was supposed to be completed. One, two, three. So this is 33, this is 34, this is 33. So by time t, 33% was supposed to be completed, and actually you see that only 20% is getting completed. That means the milestone or check on time t you are doing and finding that the deficiency. Okay. So accordingly, we will also have a look ahead plan. That depending on the report of one activity, how are you progressing in front? So if you see that in 2/3 of a time left, you have to complete 80% of the task. So you know that in the next phase, what should be your speed? If 80% of the work has to be completed in 2/3 phase, then what should be the speed? We can calculate and we can find out that from today, at what speed you should be working. Okay. So that gives a look ahead plan. Next is activity reports generated by resource sales and billing section. So actually how much of it was procured at site, and billing, that means how much of it has been utilized from the godown. Those two can also be, I'm sure none of you are accustomed with accountancy, but credit and debit, how much money gets into your account and how much money gets out of your account. The difference of that or the addition of difference of that shows whether if the difference is all zero, that means the resource sale and billing section says that you are going as per plan. But if there is a difference, then you are not going as per plan. So if you have a control on these aspects, in any of these aspects, through these aspects means the quantity of work, that means the speed of work of every individual item and the cost of the work, then you can stick. Okay. The next step is having a control on the cost. So we know that each and every activity or each and every item has its own cost. We can observe the actual cost which is being spent by the bills that are getting generated. Next, we with available standards, you have a tender estimate, because once a person invites a tender, say I'm going to make a house of bedroom, a bungalow of 2 bedroom, maybe small bungalow, I have a budget of 21 lakhs. If I state that, then the architect also get an idea that what should be the gross constraints of your design, whether you should design with gold or whether you should design with brick or wood and all, whether you should have a climate responsive architecture whether can you spend on excessive energy efficiency designs or not. So it comes from a tender estimate, the estimate which was given in the tender invitation notice, or you have a PWD, schedule of rates. I guess many of you know this, the schedule of rates by PWD, or any other relevant schedule of rates given by the local authority. So you can compare that, what is the actual cost that has been spent, and you compare it with available standards. Next is, you just plot a variance curve. That means in a car you are supposed to achieve something like this, and what you are achieving is something like this. So where there is a variation, where there is a difference, you just keep on plotting those. Compute the variance between observed and standard. We have already done this in part. While doing with part, we have already found out the variance, which is sigma square, square of the standard deviation. Because somewhere it may be positive, somewhere it may be negative. So square of that will always give you a positive value, and we will try to find out that what is the actual variation from the standard. And then we will signal a immediate warning so that timely action can be taken. For example, say if we see that in this particular place we are going up, so we are reluctant, and we see that at this particular time we are in a down condition, and the down is much more than the value of the up. So immediately what we will do is we will try to raise a signal at this point and work accordingly so that it can be pulled and this difference can be reduced and we can finish on time. Okay, a small example which I thought that very common example is, when we calculate the excavation, when we do the estimation and specification for excavation, what do we calculate? Anyone? Just suppose you are going to do a foundation, one excavation. Before constructing a foundation, what do you estimate?
In the calculation part, we calculate the volume.
Of what?
Earthwork like soil.
That has to be what?
The volume of soil.
पूरा बोलो, पूरा बोलो. इशारा सिर्फ इशारा करोगे तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आएगा. Tell the total thing that you are doing an estimation of what activity. Quantify that.
So the soil that has to be dug out for making the foundation.
It's combination of
The
earth.
soil that has to be taken out to create a pit in which a foundation has to be constructed. Clear? Now, if this is the calculation and I give you that amount of money for the manpower and its transportation shifting, will you be able to start casting the base for the foundation after that excavation is done? Say you say that you have a 1 meter by 1 meter by 2 meter deep. So 2 cubic meter of soil has to be excavated. So for every cubic meter you are going to spend 10,000 rupees. So if you give 20,000 rupees, are you sure that after spending 20,000 rupees you are ready to start constructing the base of the foundation?
No, sir.
Right?
Because we need like concrete and bars for the construction.
I am telling you, are you ready? That means now is the soil ready to cast foundation. That means if you are going to cast foundation, then we will procure the reinforcement and everything on time. But what I am saying is your excavation work completed? That means foundation can only be started after excavation is completed. I guess all of you agree to that.
Yes, sir.
This was the soil and I dug it up to this value. This is 1 and this is 2. So this is now a void. So tell me, can I start constructing a base here even if I have money? That means, is my excavation work over after I dig in this much deep? This is the calculation that we do. This is the thing that we plan and we schedule it. But most of the time it happens that we forget to pump in the water from this excavated pit. So actually, as I said, instead of 100 rupees per unit of actual expenses, it might actually, you observe that it is going to 120 rupees per unit due to pumping of water. Are you getting me? The importance of detail estimation.
Yes, sir.
It's not going according to the plan.
Yes, sir.
Now, if for the first time you find that there is an increase in 20 rupees per square unit, then what we will do in the next time when you go for tendering, you will take necessary actions, you will add that component. So hence, sometimes this cost control helps in futuristic biddings also. Hence the utility of cost control. You should learn that how it should not be like, अरे पहली बार कर रहे हैं गलती हो गया ठीक है ना सर दे दीजिए 2-4 रुपए एक्स्ट्रा बाद में देखा जाएगा नेक्स्ट टाइम मिस्टेक नहीं होगा. No, in construction business you do not have a space for those. Next, after this control, you are supposed to update with the latest information. So I say that in updation procedure, what we do is we monitor the progress of a project. There is the first activity and provide latest information for the remaining activity. Some activities may be started but yet to be completed, or some may not have started yet. So depending on a particular time, you should be updating. That means a project requests X number of time and another activity requests Y number of time. And X and Y are there are a lot of overlaps. So you have to monitor it constantly so that you know that when Y can be started or whether Y has been started or not. Next, updation also helps in cost control as well, because the cost of activity going on may be higher or lower than the estimated cost. Now, if you have a higher cost which you are achieving than the benchmark, immediately what we will do? We will try to push it down so that the cost comes down to after a particular time of delta t. The cost was going higher. Intervention. So what we do is, जब excavation हो गया है, when the excavation is over, immediately we collect some sawdust or some sand and we put it inside so that there is no water stagnation. Now we will dig up a little bit of sand at a very cheap price, which is easier to dig out rather than pumping out water, for which you need electricity, you need a pump, and you need a dumping area for water. So what we do is we do small intervention to pull the work or pull the activity and match it with the proposed time of activity. And if the cost was going down, then we will observe the quality control. We will do a quality control, that whether the quality is being compromised or not. That means the estimation that was done, the tender estimation, was an overestimate. It could have been done at a lower price also. So we try to pull it on the quality. The quality audit is done so that we match with the standard. Now, updation can be done by using a bar chart, which I was just showing that if you have a bar chart where you have a lot of activity, these are different activity, and what we say is the first one started and it took a bit more time, this much of more time. So A, B, C, D. B was supposed to start when A ends. So B got delayed. Now what should you do? Should you allow B to extend more? Or we should do intervention so that B completes on time, because otherwise D will not start. So we will get rid of this. We will try to complete B by this time, and we will see that C is an independent activity. So can C be started earlier? Can C be started earlier? Or if we have a different technique, can C and D start together so that C and D completes together also, and we don't have a excess cost behind the extra labor, but we have extra cost on the equipments maybe. So this can be plotted in a bar chart. What is the proposed and what is the actual pairwise bar chart? Or we have this CPM part networking where we can plot the optimistic condition, the pessimistic condition, and we can modify the network. In the CPM chart, we can modify the network. We can add T plus delta T to each and every individual activity and do a updation. Now, if these changes are happening on the critical path, okay, we need to increase on the cost or the do something so that the critical path is not deviated. And if you are working on a slack condition, then we have to start a bit earlier, which is accommodated within the slack. So slack is also known as float. Slack or float, they mean almost similar. Now here we have a bar chart. Say red one is the actual plan. Sorry, red one is the actual activity, how much time you have taken or how much cost you have consumed, and blue one was the plan. So the first one, the lowest one, the actual time taken was much less than the planned one, so we have a saving. This way we had a loss. Here we had a saving, and here we had a loss. So total summation will come from some calculation. That is a bar chart. This one is a bar chart. We can also use a Gantt chart, which is a derived bar chart, where we see that this dark blue is the actual activity and light blue is the its subtask. So out of that, on the date red is a timeline. This one is a timeline. How much of proportion has already been done? How much was proposed to be done? How much we are lagging on that particular date? We can observe those. So it gives a picturesque graphical representation of the actual progress of a work or actual progress of the cost invested, or with respect to the planned, the project plan. So today what I will do is I will introduce a problem to you, and in the next class we will try to solve by doing all monitoring intervention. So let's see what the problem states. Okay, it says that has all of you gotten access to the WhatsApp image? The problem is in the WhatsApp.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Everyone has got a hand to that problem. Has anyone still not been able to connect? Okay. So there you see that a project has 5 activities A, B, C and D. Sorry, A, B, C and C, D and E. That has to be completed in 10 months. Okay. With detailed cost and duration of activities given below. So the graph shows that A will start on day 0 and complete in the second month. So this is identified by what? This is identified by this particular table. So the same graph I have converted into a table in this screen, that it will start on so activity A will start on 0 and end in 2. Activity B will start on 1 and end in 4. C will start on 3 and end in 6. D will start on 4 and end in 8. And E will start on 6 and end in 10. So this is a 10 months planning. Okay. Activity A's duration is 2. इसका है 3, इसका है 3, इसका है 4. This one is 4. Now see the total calculation. If you do a addition, you see that 174 lakh of rupees is the summation that you have a plan. So what we have to do is we have to see the actual progress from time to time and do the necessary intervention, because the total cost is going to be 174. अगर slow जाओगे तो how you are going to distribute the job, that we will see. So what we are planning is, say मान लो 10 महीने है तो we are doing a progress check on month 5. See, this is a bar chart. It shows that estimated progress of A was supposed to be, it will start on 0, it will end on 2. So actually it started on 0, ended on 2. So activity A is as per schedule. Activity B was supposed to start on first month and complete by 4th month, but activity B is started on first month but completed on 5th month. So actual progress of activity B is delayed by 1 month. It has started on right time, but it has been delayed by 1 month. Instead of completing in 3 months, it is completed in 4 months. Next is at the end of 5th month, let's compare the planned and actual progress. So what we are doing is we are trying to see now C. Now what happened is, here you can see that in C, 66% approximately of the work was supposed to be completed on 5th month. But what we have done is we have actually completed 33% in this bar. Rest is not completed yet. Like this is the actual progress on 5th month. Though it started, that means the progress of C has slipped to 33% instead of 67%. Sorry, 67. That means we are moving slow. Next is D. Now see, in the first, here what we have done, D has a relation with B. That way, D will only start after B is completed. But we know that B has been delayed. B has been delayed. So actually D was supposed to start on the 4th month, but on 5th month we see that there is no progress of D. D is not progressing. Activity D has not started, as activity B has just ended on the 5th month. And activity E is yet to start. So this is the problem. Okay, from this graph, are you understanding that we are on the 5th month and activity E is going to start in the C. So E depends on the completion of C. Now the actual progress of C has slipped. It is now moving slow. So we should do something in this particular phase of C so that this can be completed on time. That means now it is already 5th month. So in 6th month, in 1 month here, we have to do the work of 2 months. Isn't it? Then only E can start on month 6. So what intervention has to be done here? That we will discuss in the next class. थोड़ा problem को समझो, because I won't be going back to the slides to discuss it. We'll just be doing some carves like if this was the progress, planned progress, and we see that after some time you are in a particular location, then actually what is going to happen? If you follow the same curve, what will happen? This will be the delay. So you have two options. Either do something so that from here things are parallel, so there is a less delay, or we do some additional thing so that we achieve it in here. Okay. So just get the problem inside you, understand the 5 activities. This is a typical problem because somewhere it is delayed, somewhere it is slow, somewhere some works are depending. So how to manage with that, how to manage with the delays. We'll look into this in the next class on when on Friday. Okay.